My previous work was a practices research project which incorporated infrasound within sonic art sculpture. So infrasonic frequencies are those frequencies that operate below the hearing spectrum. So it's the frequencies that the body feels, but you don't necessarily hear. And it was important for me to use these frequencies so that I could survey a response within the audience and add another sense, rather than sight and sound, that of touch. And it's known as haptic perception when you feel frequencies, and you can respond to frequencies through the skin.
Like we kind of found, I think we both kind of found like this sort of like, I think it was a C or a C sharp like minor that sort of fitted really well with it. All seemed to lock into the key of it without like causing too much dissonance, and then we sort of fall in and out of that.
The low frequency sound produces larger waveforms, and it's these waveforms that you can actually feel bouncing on your body and inside your body. And some theories are that your organs and your visceral organs resonate at certain frequencies that are very, very low, below 20 hertz, which is below the hearing spectrum. So your organs respond to the frequencies that the body's being bombarded with. For the bass ensemble, I've decided to continue working with very low frequencies in order to generate this immersive effect again, but with it, rather than the installation environment, rather than the work being installed, it being a performance setting. So it has a definite beginning and a definite end. So I'm still working with the very, very low frequencies that affect the performers this time. They'll still affect the audience, but they'll affect the performers. And in the previous installations, as I was walking around and using my voice, I noticed that the very low frequencies seemed to cut off the vocal cords. So that made me think about how the very low frequencies would affect performers within the performance. So the other instrumentalists, when they're playing and performing in the space where the infrasound is being emitted, they feel that it just adds, it doesn't inhibit the playing at all. So they find harmonies and dissonance within the bass frequencies that they can play along to. So the difficulty for them is finding melodies and chords and drones that accompany the infrasound.
There's all sorts of other things like sort of in between that. There's almost like a syntax to it, like the space in between what you can kind of hear, and you know how you can kind of manipulate that and play around with those sorts of things. Like I said, I think more developed sort of way in my head of sort of imagining it and visualizing it. So it's like that's been quite helpful. It's opened my eyes to a few things, I think. And I find like when you start getting the instruments making like a frequency as well, and you've got a difference between them, or where some of the overtones hit the sub bass frequency. So it's like you've got all these things going. That affects like the timing as well as sort of the way it sounds, and whether it sounds quite melodic or quite dissonant. It also sort of, you know, you find yourself following these different pulses that arise as you like change key or change notes. These sort of different, you can hear like different like little bits in the differentials. Like, I mean, I know that if you get three frequencies sort of overlaid, you don't get that steady beat anymore. You get like triplets on one side of it, or like, you know, you start to get rhythms and more like complicated things happening there. I noticed like that happening at the installation as well. But I mean, it'd be interesting to like go more into it, and like you could delve pretty deeply into that, I imagine.
What do you think it's going to be like on the performance now?
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. It's it's a lot different to a lot of kind of other musical work I've done. I'm playing a lot of like more like, I guess, entertainment sort of based bands. So it's interesting doing something that has like a kind of more of a context and like a purpose to it, and like I'm looking forward to like the stage show as well. I'm looking forward to the dresses and that sort of thing.
I've composed using very low frequencies. I've used time stretching so that we can get in between sound, and I've used something that is known as beat frequencies, where you put two frequencies together, and it's the differential between the two that creates the frequency that affects you. So in this case I've used 50 hertz and 52 hertz, so the differential is 2 hertz, and 2 hertz is the frequency that is supposed to be the anti-aging frequency. Okay, so the piece itself is called Decomposition. So it explores how everything decomposes, everything dies, whether we're dead or dying from the minute we're born to the minute we do die, we still continue decomposing, the body's decomposed, so it addresses that. So using the 2 Hertz differential, as the sound decomposes, the 2 Hertz differential, which is the anti-aging or the anti-decomposition frequency, is fighting against it, as I suppose we all are as we go along life's shiny path.
What did you think of the performance?
Well, having seen the piece almost from conception, I thought the aesthetic of seeing the performance just lended something else to it. To see Kerry just moving around all the time tirelessly, and then Roxanne so subtle in her movements that only every so you caught it now and again, so she's changed position, but you didn't see the change. And then almost like a metronome was, I don't know, Claire, I think she's called, was this kind of this constant moving throughout.
What about the music? How did you feel during the performance?
It vibrated right through my toes and my very being, really, and that really helped me settle into what I was doing. It was almost like a meditation where I'm sort of at one, everyone else that was watching wasn't there anymore. It's literally like becoming one with the music, and that actual frequency really does like get to your core, and you sort of resonate with that. And it's been one of the most powerful dance performances I've ever done because of the way the music was and the way it was composed. So it was fantastic, and I'd love to do something similar again, for sure.
No, I think it went okay. Like, Bench is another very accomplished musician, so it was quite easy to work with him. And then with the bass frequencies in the background, it really gave you like a route to play over.
Yeah, it goes really slow while you're not playing, and then really fast the rest of the time. I find myself, like wanting to move on to the next bit before it's really time. You got to hold yourself back with that. It's like while I wasn't playing, it felt like I was there for like an hour, and then the rest of the performance felt really short, even though we were playing for longer.
And also, did it feel different because there was an audience there?
Once again, in the beginning bit where I wasn't playing, in my mind, I was really aware that there was a crowd there. I think once we got like into once me and Yori started playing, I lost awareness of that really.
I had like specific moves that I knew I would do, but I didn't know when I would do them or when I would feel like doing it. Most I was feeling it, like feeling my way through it, and then Yorick was kind of like working off me, and then I was kind of improvising a bit to that, like reacting to how he improvised the sound to what I was doing. That was quite cool. So it's like a collab, but a live collaboration. It's nice.
And what about how did the bass frequency fit into all that?
It was kind of weird because like a lot of the time, because it's so monotone, you forget that you can hear it, but you can feel it inside. So it's like a vibration, like in my feet as well on the floor. It's quite nice.